Hey there, and welcome to the new space. It's a work in progress, but I hope you like it. I'm digging the new vibes. I'm Sir Wade, in case you're new here, and today we are going to talk about something that I feel like some people are going to feel a little targeted by. If that's you and you feel targeted by this video, it's probably good that you're here. We're going to discuss one of the bigger myths or lies in the animation industry, something that I don't believe to be true, even though I used to think that was the case. You know why you're here, you clicked the thumbnail, you saw the thing, it's who you know. I can already see in the minds of some people comments forming, getting ready to type, but it is, you have to know someone, I've been trying for years, blah, blah, blah. So here's the thing. There are generally two schools of thought when it comes to dealing with this idea.
There are basically two schools of thought.
The reason I'm not getting a job is because I don't know anybody. I don't have my in at a studio. If I could just make that connection, if I could just, network with the right people, then I could get in. And then there's the other people who know people at studios, and it's sort of this idea that, well, I know all these people, I know people, you'd think by now one of them would have gotten me a job. Why can't I get hired? And I talk to a lot of people who this is kind of a thing that they think about, and I want to sort of dispel this myth. But before I dive too deep into all this, I don't want to just say, this is untrue, blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Because there's some merit to it, like there's some stuff that does work as a benefit to knowing people, sure, and we'll talk about that. But I want to give you a new quote, something to get rid of this quote, but to replace it with a better one. I was listening to a podcast recently, and this topic kind of came up, and I heard something I'd never heard before. But it was really interesting because Dante, the guy who plays Zuko in the show,
Rufio,
shared an insight that I had never heard before. It's not who you know, it's who knows you and what they think of you.
I don't care what everyone else says about you. You're pretty smart.
And that just blew my mind because I thought that was so much better, a better representation of what the idea is supposed to be. It's not about who you know in the industry who can get you a job. It's when someone has an opening, an opportunity, has a need for a certain skill set, do they think of you? Have they seen your work? Do they understand how you are to work with? And what do they think of you? As in, are you a jerk? Are you someone that people want to work with? That is a much more accurate way to frame that idea. And a lot of this comes back to networking. The idea of networking is usually so gross and skeezy and scummy and very LA weird entertainment industry vibes.
Oh, well, I produce and write and direct and edit film and television, but I've been known to act a little when the mood strikes.
I'm from Southern California. I grew up not in LA, but very close to LA. When I moved to LA, I did have the idea of I'm gonna move to LA, I'm gonna go to these events, I'm gonna meet people, and it was sort of this community building. I wanted to come here and find a community of like-minded artists and people who shared my interests, because where I grew up, there was no animation. That wasn't a thing that I knew about. It wasn't until I left and actually learned about it in college that I started pursuing it. But when I moved into LA specifically, I was kind of hoping to network in the sense of just meeting other people who were in animation. And yeah, at the time I did think, because I'd been told it's who you have to know someone. And so I was always looking out for those opportunities. Who can I talk to? And I don't think I was ever bad about it, but I think we all know what I'm referring to with kind of the gross side of it. And I've actually been on the receiving end of that too. I went to a birthday party for an animator who worked at DreamWorks at the time. I think he still works there. And one of the people who was there was about my age. At the time, I think we were about 22 or so. And this guy couldn't have cared less about me, which is fine. Whatever, do you. But I could tell he was not interested in talking to me. He was really interested in talking to certain animators that he knew were kind of higher up on the chain because he was trying to break into the industry. It was so apparent to me, and I wasn't even the person he wanted to talk to, and I could tell that I was not important enough for his attention because he was trying to figure out who could he talk to, who could he meet, who could help him grow and climb and get to where he wanted to be. Which is funny because at the time he didn't know I worked at DreamWorks, and of course I had no power. I could not have helped him get a job in what he wanted to do. But it was funny because then I kind of bumped into someone else from who I worked with. He's like, hey, blah, 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 something about at work tomorrow. And the guy was in the little circle of us, and he kind of looked at me and it clicked in his mind oh, you, and he even said it. He's like, oh, you work with them? I'm like, yeah. Yeah. And after that, he was so interested in talking to me and oh, you make videos? Oh, that's really cool. And after that, he was so interested in talking to me. Oh, you make videos? That's really cool. Oh, you have a YouTube channel? He pulls up my YouTube channel and starts playing my videos with the volume up, just there with us, standing there. And I'm like, this is the most awkward and uncomfortable. Thank you for watching my videos. To anybody who's watching this right now, please, if you meet me in person, say hello, let's hang out, let's chat. Please don't pull up my videos and start like watching them next to me. Like, I make them for you. I don't want to watch them. I don't want to watch myself in a video. It just, And then you wanted to ask me all these questions and like, dude, I could tell before that he had no interest in me because I couldn't help his career. And I still couldn't, but he thought I could. He thought I could maybe get him in or whatever. You know, we're the young guys, you know, help me in there. Like, you were so like rude to me before and now you're just trying to use me. It was so obvious. It was very uncomfortable. Anyways, all of that to say, networking is usually a very skeezy, gross interaction thing where people go to conventions and they're trying to, you know, who can I meet? That will never help you, ever. There is a way to do that that's not gross, and you can totally go to things and, you know, talk to people online, and you can totally network in a healthy way. But for the purpose of this video, I don't want to talk about like how to network. I more want to talk about like what is networking. Networking is not that. That's what we see it as, and it's very common to be that way, and there's a good way to do it, but that's not actually networking. Networking is supporting. Networking is just getting to know people. So it's not who you know, it's who you get to know, and not for the purposes of your agenda or, you know, your career or whatever. It's that when you meet people and get to know each other, and you don't have to become best friends, but you have a mutual respect, you have a shared vision, you work together collaboratively on a project, or you're just helpful, generally nice, you build a relationship with somebody, and you just generally feel that that person is a good person, someone who you'd like to work with in the future, or you wouldn't mind bumping into and chatting with, or just whatever. That mutual respect is very important, because when you each bring something to the table and can just have a human interaction and it's a positive relationship, that is the kind of bare minimum, and that's what leads to actual networking. Building a network or a community of people that you like to be around, generally, or want to work with in the future. A lot of people will know this as the couch cycle. That's not a real term, I just made that up. But it's that thing where if you have classmates from a school, or people you met at a workshop or an online program, or, you know, if I move to LA, I can establish something, some kind of a foothold, and then I have a friend who wants to move out. I'm like, hey, I've got a futon or a couch or like a living room, like feel free to stay for a bit, like while you look for a place yourself, try to get a job, interview. I've done that several times with a bunch of people. I went to Animation Mentor, which is the online animation school. I've talked about it a million times. If you sign up for Animation Mentor, please tell them I sent you. Thank you. I was in LA, and so when people wanted to come there, I had my futon, or I had a couch, or whatever. Now they have been here for years, and they do the same thing for their friends, and it's just the couch cycle. It's just where you're supporting each other. That's really all it is. And that's just kind of out of school or the entry level stuff. What's more important is when you actually work together on stuff. If you work on a production with somebody and you see their work ethic and you see what they can do and their skills and what they're putting in, and you go, wow, this person's really good and they're a joy to work with, that's where you get the, I can rely on this person, they work well with others, they're a creative problem solver. That's what we want on the team, and that's what I'm always gonna want on my teams, and so that's what sticks with you, and that's getting to know people in a professional setting. Because people think that networking is this VIP pass that'll get them into the industry. It's not. You can know people, that's fine, but until you show them what you can do and how what you do can benefit the studio or the project or whatever that they're working on, it doesn't matter. It's just a friendly relationship otherwise, which is also fine. Like, it's not like you're trying to just meet people to get jobs or something. Like, it's nice to know people. But it's not this thing that once you meet the artist from Pixar, you're gonna get in and fame and fortune awaits. It's not how it works. That's also really not how animation works. So yeah, bottom line is it's never this forced thing of go to this little soiree, this company event, and see who I can talk to, this convention. That's never going to actually like get you a job that way. Now, sure, you might meet a recruiter or meet an artist who knows of an opportunity. Like, you might find out things and ultimately get a job because of those interactions. Sure, that's totally normal. But that's not like it's who you know. You don't need that to break in. It's always about the work. It always comes back to the work. And I feel like I'm kind of the perfect person to give this advice to anybody who's struggling with this, because I don't work at a studio. I am full-time YouTube animation stuff. Like, that's what I'm doing right now. When I first started this channel back in 2017, the goal of this channel was to show you everything. The creative journey of trying to become a professional animator. And for the first year or two, that was my main goal. And then I kind of switched up for a bit to just figure out, I want to try out this YouTube thing. And so that's what I've been doing for the last 3-ish years or something. My year of risk, if you remember that video, has turned into just trying to create a business on YouTube. And that's been super fun. spoilers for some upcoming stuff, I'm gonna be trying to actually go back and get a job at a studio because I want to work on a production. I want to be part of a team sport. And I'm a great example of, I know lots of people, not in like a flexy way, but like I know lots of people at lots of studios. Wonderful people who I've gotten to meet and I've had the pleasure of getting to know at various, either acquaintance level or becoming very good friends with different people. And that's wonderful, but it doesn't get me a job. I don't just get into Disney or Pixar because I know someone there. I don't just go to DreamWorks and become an animator because I worked there as a trainer for 2 years. It's not how it works. I need to demonstrate my capability as an animator if that's what I want to be doing at a studio. I have to show, hey, look, I can animate and I'm also nice, and so on. That's what it takes. And to the credit of the statement, like, yeah, it's who you know does benefit in some ways. It will be easier for me to find out about opportunities because I can message a friend and say, hey, are you guys gonna be hiring anytime soon? And more than likely I can get an answer back saying, oh yeah, spring is a good time, apply then, or something. But at the same time, you can just go on the website. Like, they're required to post the job posting anyway. Whatever studio you're applying to has to post the job posting. So I might get a little bit more heads up if I were to ask around. It's not automatic that I'm just gonna always know before other people, but like, yeah, I might get tipped off by a friend like, hey, like, we're gonna be hiring soon, get your reel ready. But I should be doing that anyway, So there are benefits. I'm not gonna totally say that it's wrong, because there are benefits to knowing people. I can ask for feedback from friends and, I'll get some different insights and stuff, sure. But another thing is, like, resources are now available. Like this YouTube channel. The whole point of this YouTube channel was to create the educational resource for aspiring artists and animators and people who wanted to do art professionally. I was trying to build a resource that I wish I had in school, because this didn't exist. how many years ago when I started this channel, there was nothing. There were no tutorials, there were no guides, there were no like Q&As with people. There was nothing. Now there's more. There's this channel and there's various others that are great resources. But that's the thing, is like, before, people always said you had to know someone because there was no way to know anything. Now you can know stuff. Now you can ask people questions on Twitter, and you can go on Twitch streams, and you can come to YouTube channels and so on. So at this point, when I talk to people and they say, I can't get a job because I don't know anybody, or I should have a job because I know people, it's usually just an excuse or a cop-out. This is not always true, but it's often masking some kind of an excuse of, really, you're not working as hard as you should, or maybe you're putting your effort into something that's not actually helping you, because maybe you're putting in tons of work, it's just not really the right place to put the effort. Sometimes people just work really hard and it takes, we're all on our different paces. Sometimes it just does take longer for others to learn this stuff, and maybe you are working as hard as you need to be working. It's just taking a little bit longer. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But blaming not being able to get a job on not knowing somebody doesn't work, because there are plenty of people who've gotten into the industry back in the day and recently who don't have any contacts. It's just their work speaks for itself. Get them jobs. And all of this ties into the idea of luck, because you can really go either way. You'll have people who are like, you need to be lucky to find out about the things and, the right place at the right time. And then other people who are like, no, it's all about the hard work. It really is a blend of both, but it's not like you can just rely on being lucky. But again, I'm a really good example of this point as well. I got my job at DreamWorks a couple years ago because I met somebody at a convention who worked at DreamWorks and told me about the job opportunity. I didn't know about that department. I didn't know that that type of job existed, and I didn't know that I'd be a good candidate for it. So it was very lucky that I met this individual. So yeah, like, there's some luck and there's some good that I knew somebody, but it's not that I just got lucky and then that was it. I wouldn't have gotten the job had I not had the experiences and the resume and kind of the background and the technical and the teaching stuff that I was already doing to then actually get me in. So luck is really when hard work meets opportunity. The opportunities you can't control, the timing and where things are and when things happen, and all of that can work out really well, and that's the luck part. But you have to also do what you can do to be ready for those opportunities. Because if I told you in this video right now, like, hey, everyone watching, like, there's an opportunity at Disney right now, go apply, and they're taking lots of people, or something. And again, I don't work for Disney, so that may not be true. That's probably not true. But let's just say I said that and it were accurate. Are you ready to apply right now? Do you have a demo reel that's ready to go? I don't. I'm working on it. But the hard work must meet the opportunity, in the same way that it's nice to know people, but ultimately it's about the work and about your relationships with people. It's not the networking stuff. It's about being supportive and friendly and capable. Hopefully all of that helps to show that it's not who you know, it's who knows you and what they think of you. It's who you get to know and how hard you're willing to work to meet those opportunities when they pop up. I think that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did. It does help a lot with the whole YouTube algorithm, so I appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you in the next video as I continue to decorate the space. And feel free to leave a comment down below of any of the things you've heard about the animation industry that you don't know whether or not they're true. If you want to discuss them, maybe I'll make another video about some other stuff, other myths that you may have heard in school or wherever. But yeah, thanks for watching. Again, I'm Sir Wade, and I'll see you in the next video.